Last week, we talked about the Jewish festival of Pentecost and the tremendous things that happened there, the Holy Spirit being poured out on the apostles, the different languages they were speaking. 3,000 people were baptized, the starting of what we call the church. But it didn't stop there. No, we're a little later told that the number of men is 5,000. So what is that, 10,000 people or more? We're told that it's increasing. The number of disciples are increasing. There are people being healed. It is a tremendous thing that's going on. Land is being sold, and the money is brought to the apostles and laid at their feet, it says. In other words, take this, use this for the kingdom, however you can. Tremendous things are happening. Yes, there is a hiccup along the way. Ananias and Sapphira, you can go read that if you want. But other than that, it's just amazing the things that are happening. And the church is growing and tremendous things are happening. And yes, this did not go unnoticed by the Jewish leadership. And yes, they did respond the same way as they did with Jesus. In one instance in particular, Peter and John are called before, well, seized would be a better way to put it, and brought before the Sanhedrin, the Jewish ruling council. They were brought before that. Now, if you remember, this is the group that the family of the blind man in John chapter 9 were brought before, and they were kind of concerned because they were going to get booted out of here, and they didn't want to be. It was a social network. It was the religious network. That's the group that Peter and John are brought before. Now, Peter and John are brought before us because they healed somebody. But they weren't really concerned about getting kicked out. There was bigger issues. There was bigger things going on that they were concerned about. And that was letting people know of the salvation, the love that comes from God. What I find interesting in all of this is what the Jewish leaders say about these two individuals. In Acts chapter 4, verse 13, it says, "When they saw the courage of Peter and John, they realized that they were unschooled, ordinary men. They were astonished, and they took note that these men had been with Jesus." Two important things here. First of all, is they say these men weren't trained. To be able to speak like this, you need to be trained. Gamaliel was a leader amongst them. We later see that Paul was trained under Gamaliel. That's what they expected. These guys weren't that. These guys were unschooled. They were fishermen. They were common, ordinary, unschooled. But then it says they were astonished. How did they do this? And that brings us to the second point, which is the answer. They noticed that they had been with Jesus. Ordinary individuals doing extraordinary things because they had been with Jesus. Elijah is a prophet that we know from the Old Testament that did tremendous things. I like what James writes about him. He's talking about prayer. He says, Elijah was a man just like us. See, the power doesn't lie in the created. It lies in the Creator. And we have to remember that. See, extraordinary things can happen when we remember where the power lies. What extraordinary things are you going to do for God this week? Who are you going to intentionally serve so that they will know of God's love? Who are you going to build a relationship with so that you can talk to them about God's love and salvation? What opportunities are you going to take to boldly speak about God and His love to those around you? Extraordinary things happen from ordinary people when we grasp the power of God. See, the power lies in God. We're just the conduit for it to happen. Ordinary individuals doing extraordinary things. Go be bold. Go be extraordinary this week.